More with UNI Athletic Director David Harris. David, the COVID-19 closing down the school for the entire month of March, online learning through April 2nd. No spring sports. Talk about the impact that has on an athletic department's budget. Not only do you have the spring sports canceled, there's also that floated opportunity for seniors to return for another year, and potentially there's early talks or inclinations there may be more scholarships available next year.
Yeah, there are, I guess, a number of different budget impacts that you can have when you look at the possibility of student athletes returning for another year. No one knows exactly what that's going to look like, because you know that you have incoming student athletes who are going to be taking scholarships that they anticipated being available because of your outgoing student athletes. Well, if some of those student athletes don't leave, then how are you going to accommodate the scholarships and the financial need for all of those student athletes? So that's yet to be decided, and we'll have to figure that out. But then when you look at the cancellation of spring sports, for the most part, many of our spring sports are not in situations where they're revenue generating for us. So at least from a standpoint of lost revenue, that's not really significant for us. But what can be significant is if you look at third-party events, things that were scheduled to be in the Dome or the McLeod Center, whether they're things like the Harlem Globetrotters or a sports show or an antique show or any of those things, then that does have an impact, a negative impact on your budget. And you don't know exactly what the total impact is going to be, because we're still in the process. We're trying to figure out what events are going to be had and what ones may not be had as we go throughout the rest of the academic year. So we'll figure that all out and figure out ultimately what the total impact is on the department. But with stuff like this, you know there's going to be an impact, but you really can't let that be the primary driver in your decisions. You're trying to keep people safe. You know there's going to be a financial impact, but you're willing to deal with that if it's the right call, the right decision to keep the participants safe and the people who are coming to these events safe.
And as far as the events go, if it's an event outside of the university or the athletic department, go to that particular event's website for more information, because you have graduations, you have some things coming up that are a little bit further down the road. The call on those probably won't be made until a few weeks prior.
You're right, there's different guidance that's out there on this, because we know the university is in online instruction until April 3rd, but there's also been guidance from the CDC about gatherings of a particular size group. Some of the things we are able to make decisions on right now, but then there are others where we'll wait till it's a little bit closer before we decide whether or not we can have those events.
It's a little spooky feeling, the empty dome, not much going on, very few people on campus here at the University of Northern Iowa. We look now at an update on the UNI wrestling team that was unable to go compete at the NCAA championships.